This is the Late Late Lunch Show with Rod Maxwell.
Supported by
Child-led learning in nature's playground.
It's Rod Maxwell on RadioAlty and the Late Late Lunch Show, supported by our friends from Back to the Garden Childcare. And as part of the Radio and Alty and Me series, RadioAlty being 6 years old, I'm speaking to our jazz man, Mr. Joel Thompson. Jazztime with Joel on a Monday night. Joel, what about you?
Well, I think I've been with the show, RadioAlty, I should say, about 5 years, roughly. I suppose I'm early to radio. I mean, when the opportunity arose, I first of all I thought I'll think about it for a few days, but within hours I got back to the station, sort of saying, "Yeah, I want to do it," because I didn't want to regret not doing it. And the thing is also, I'd not always. I knew a number of people who did radio, but I've never felt. It's not as if I harboured a long-standing need to be on radio. It's only within the last 10 years, really, that it's interested me. But as I say, when the opportunity came up, I didn't want to turn it down, and I'm glad I did it. It's I enjoy working the station. The people there are good. They're always there to help. We're always expanding. We're taking on new people all the time. There's a lot of variety on the show, on the station. A lot of variety.
So let's talk about you. Let's talk about you and jazz, okay? Yeah. Because for people who don't know jazz, it's a very, very wide genre. You've got trad, you've got new. How did you first get into jazz?
Curiosity, simple as that. I mean, there's a point where I really started to get involved in listening to music, not just like casually, but really digging into the roots and the of it all. And so I started off listening to pop music, rock music. But as I got more into listening to rock music, there were certain musicians who were talking about jazz artists that they liked, and so that was a starting point. And also in 1972, I started working for a record store. And I mean, I'd always been going in on a Saturday, and I got to know like the manager, and we sort of struck up a relationship because you could say I was on a similar wavelength to him, and he offered me the opportunity to work there, and again I thought, yeah, I'm going to take this because I mean that's what I love, music. So we'd been in that environment. It's like it's like a treasure trove. I mean, you could just listen to whatever you wanted, because a lot of interesting music can stem from simple things like what somebody says, or you might see certain names appearing on recordings, and you start investigating them, and it just goes off and off and off. And but as I say, I mean, the jazz, I mean, yeah, I just, I was fascinated by it. And I didn't start in the regular way. I didn't start, say, from early days of jazz, like Dixieland. I went backwards and forward. I mean, I suppose I started in the middle and went forward a bit and back a bit. And it's like, it's funny when people start to say, I like jazz. And if you say, well, what do you like? And they'll sort of say, oh, I like modern jazz or something. And you say, oh, have you listened to this sort of area of jazz? And I mean, not all jazz fans like all jazz styles. You get camps like who they only like, say, Dixieland, or some people only like big bands, or people who only like what they call bebop, and so it doesn't mean that there can be these different camps at times. But with the show, I want to show as much variety of jazz that people can listen to.
Well, I'll tell you what, Joe, we'll take a break and I want to come back and talk more about you and the show and talk about jazz as a genre and talk maybe about some of the new jazz artists as well. So on RadioAlty today, as part of the RadioAlty and Me series, I'm talking to Mr. Jazz on RadioAlty, Joel Thompson. Jazztime with Joel. What time is your show on a Monday? Is it 10 o'clock?
It's 10 o'clock on a Monday.
There you
Monday
go.
Night.
Don't miss it. 10 o'clock on a Monday night. Often you'll find it also up on Mixcloud.com. Look for RadioAlty there.
You're listening to the Late Late Lunch Show with
Back to the Garden Childcare, where little explorers grow naturally.
It's Rod Maxwell on RadioAlty on the Late Late Lunch Show, and as part of the series RadioAlty and Me, I'm delighted to be speaking to Mr. Jazz on our station. And you know, the thing I find, Joel, is people have shows and you think to yourself, you know what, you suit that music, right? Annie suits soul, you know, and you suit jazz, and it's your radio style and your laid backness and that type of thing, and it seems to work. You and radio, do you remember the first time that you actually started listening to radio, for example?
Oh yeah, I mean, it shows you how old I am. I mean, when I was listening to radio, you only had like what they call the light program, and what is now known as Radio 3, and there's Radio Luxembourg.
Yeah.
So it shows you how old I am. And then obviously the pirate stations, as you know yourself, they changed a lot because they would play music which didn't normally get played. It was funny when you look back when you only had a small amount of stations. I mean, but I used to listen to Radio Luxembourg.
So many people did, didn't they? Because there wasn't that much to listen to.
Kid Jensen and
and I guess in those days it was very much an event, maybe because radio wasn't just ubiquitous in terms of devices and how you listened to it. It was that box in the house that maybe there was just one in the house, and it was very cherished.
That's right. Yeah, you're right. It was an event. Maybe because of that, you just listened a bit more. You wouldn't have liked everything you heard, but it certainly was that case with when the pirate stations came along, because of some of the lesser known music. I mean, it was like fascinating. Oh, wow. It's quite striking, really.
Do you know, I want to test a small theory with you, because I think, you know, I'm a child of the 70s and 80s and, you know, didn't have much access to music apart from what my sister had on vinyl and what was on the radio. And I think that sort of, in some ways, forced you to listen to a lot more. In the car, I remember hearing country shows that my mum and dad would be listening to, whatever. But I wonder, and then today now, there's such variety, you sort of think, is there the same curiosity later on, or is there the same, if you like, variety that people listen to? But then I think, well, if you look at Spotify or any of the Apple Music or anything like that, people can go back and forward across genre for the same price. It's not price bound, if you like. And I do think a lot of the younger kids, if you like, are listening to music from different eras and different genre, because you've got this infinite ability to go and search it. Do you think that's the case in the jazz scene, that actually it's a very wide variety of artists and age groups?
I mean, the very fertile sort of scene up and down the country of the newer sort of jazz musicians, and they're just having a different approach to things, drawing on other musics, just using different arrangements of things, and which is really good. I mean, there's like a number of people from over here, like Kathy Kinoshi and Shirley Tete, a guy called Alpha Mist. There's the real fascinating drawing on these different influences. not being bound by it's definitely got to be jazz. I mean, because some of the young kids, their influences are from now, and whereas like somebody say from the 60s and 70s, I mean, they were influenced obviously from the other music from that period. So it's just it's a continuation of that. Yeah, you've got to keep moving. I mean, because you don't want it to go stagnant or anything, and you got to keep it alive.
And of course, it's kept alive by a lot of the live scene. Manchester has a lot of live venues as well for jazz. We'll talk about that in a bit. So today on the show, I'm talking to Joel Thompson. He is Jazztime with Joel on RadioAlty, 10 o'clock on a Monday night, and you can listen back on mixcloud.com. RadioAlty will be back, and we'll be talking to Joel about him and radio and how he actually produces his show.
This is the Late Late Lunch Show with Rod Maxwell on RadioAlty.
It's Rod Maxwell on RadioAlty, and it's part of the RadioAlty and Me series, with RadioAlty being 6 years old. I'm speaking to one of our presenters, Joel Thompson, one of our original group of presenters. And Joel, you're somebody who records, produces at home. And I think one of the things that is fascinating about today's society and the technology is, with a computer and a microphone, you're away, aren't you? It's almost as simple as that.
Oh, it is. I mean, it's given a freedom. You're not having to go through all sorts of channels to sort of put a show out. I mean, you just do it. I mean, yeah, and try and make it as good a standard as possible. And
I mean, you are the producer, the creator, the presenter. You are, it's amazing how many roles you play doing a radio show. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I have to decide on what I want to play, decide on what I want to say about the songs I'm playing, because I do like imparting information. I don't like it just to be, and that was that track. I like to give a background, sort of, even if the title isn't in English. I like to find the English translation of it.
And I think that's the role that radio can play over and above a playlist, is the presenter is a curator. They are an introducer of people to music. And by providing that background and a bit of context, you can introduce somebody to a new artist and that they wouldn't have maybe found if they were just listening to Spotify or Apple Music or whatever.
That's right, yeah.
Where do you find your music from? I mean, is it through websites? Is it through just constantly listening, or where is it?
It's stuff I've got in my collection. All the stuff I play is my collection.
So do you play physical vinyl as well as or?
No, I just upload CDs to mix. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And so it's all physical CDs that you've got that you put into digital format, and you do it then on your computer. Wow, you must have a big collection of CDs, Joel.
I've got one or two.
And of course you started. It was lockdown when you were starting to present your show. I'm sure, was it?
I can't remember, to be honest. I mean. If you think that's right, I can't remember. Well,
I was just thinking that we're 6 years of age. That was the beginning of lockdown. Lockdown lasted 18 months or so. You definitely were in the station within a year, I think, of us going up. Because I remember trying to find a jazz show, because I guess what we're about in RadioAlty is variety, and we were looking for a jazz show, and you fell into our laps. And I have to say, it's been perfect, and it's got that really lovely, slightly later night listening sound, chilled, informational, but a good late night sound about your voice and the music, Joel.
Oh, thank you.
Right, well, we'll take a break. We'll be back with Mr. Jazz on RadioAlty, Joel Thompson, from Jazztime with Joel, and we'll be talking about him and radio and also jazz as well. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
You're listening to the Late Late Lunch Show with
Back to the Garden Childcare, where little explorers grow naturally.
Joe, would you say music plays a big part in your life? You know, you're surrounded by music, and if it does, how important is it to you?
Oh, it's very important. It gives me joy. I'm amazed that a lot of the time stuff I hear, I mean, some stuff is that good you can't, your jaw drops at times. But yeah, it does play a big, it has done since I really got interested in it, a big part. I mean, whether it's listening to it, going to gigs, or whether it's chatting with people about music, it's always played a big part in my life.
And here's a tough question, which we haven't prepared. But if you could have your own Joel Thompson concert, any genre, right, any artist, live or dead, who would you want to have on the bill?
Who would I like to have on the bill?
Top three.
Well, I'd love to hear the Miles Davis around the time of In a Silent Well. I'd love to have heard that band playing. Yeah, that's something I'd love to hear. Who else? Who do you play on your Sunday? Because you do a Sunday morning show occasionally, and you go completely off script. Who would you play from there that you would have in your Joel Thompson gig, if you like? Who would have played from there? Arthur Alexander. Really rate his voice, beautiful voice. Yeah. I'd have that.
And is there any artist that's contemporary today, or in recent times, that you think that's a talent, and you can see where they've come from? Say like an Amy Winehouse, for example.
Outside of what I listen to, I mean, a lot of the stuff I just hear casually on the radio. Mm-hmm. I do hear. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head, but I do hear things which I really like. Yeah, I mean, there's quite a bit of obscure stuff that I hear, or lesser known music I hear. I can't think of anyone straight off. Maybe I'll come back to you in a few minutes.
All right, well, today on the show, as part of RadioAlty Me, the series, and RadioAlty at 6, I'm speaking to Joel Thompson. He hosts Jazztime with Joel on a Monday night at 10 p.m. You can catch him live from 10 on a Monday. It's also repeated, and also it's on mixcloud.com/RadioAlty. Look up, he's got a playlist of all his shows from many shows do you think you've done now, Joel?
I've done 170. 175.
Oh, you've broken the 100 club some time ago. You're nearly in the 200 club. There you go. 175 pieces of gold from Joel Thompson.
This is the Late Late Lunch Show with Rod Maxwell on RadioAlty.
Can I ask you about Manchester, Joel, and Manchester in music and Manchester in culture? Is it been something that's been part of your life or come into your life, and how, growing up in Manchester, what's that been like?
Oh, it's been fascinating. I mean, just talking about the music scene, when I really started going to gigs, I mean, there was so many places to go. I mean, some of them don't exist anymore. Yeah, I mean, like the university as well. That's the days when you have to get somebody to sign you in. Yeah.
And it does have a wonderful history and link to music, doesn't it? Manchester as a place. Do you think that's its industrial working class roots? Do you think?
What
the music scene, the growth of music in the city, do you think that has strong links back to its sort of working class industrial city origins, if you like?
Oh yeah. Even, I mean, things like folk music, that was people singing about life at work and the leisure life and going out in the hills sort of for freedom and things like that. Yeah, it does, yeah.
And there is a bit of a jazz live scene around Manchester. I forget the club that's in Northern Quarter. What's it called?
Well, he's down the wall, these Matt and Freds. Yeah, they put a lot of things on, and you get the Bridgewater Hall put some things on at times. The Manchester Jazz Festival's coming up in May.
Yes.
Yeah. Some of it, there'll be the weekend, they'll have sort of free gigs at home. So
will you go to that?
Oh yeah, I'll be going to it, yeah.
And does that pull in international jazz artists?
It does, yeah. Yeah. Part of what they do also in Manchester Jazz, so they like to showcase either local musicians or just people from the UK as well.
All right.
So but they do use, obviously, bringing musicians from other parts of the world, yeah.
And do you think artists like Jamie Cullum, who have been a little bit more on the commercial end of jazz, have they helped open it up to another group of people, and there's been a bit of the entry level, if you like, of the genre?
Yeah. I mean, he also presents a really good jazz show as well, Jamie Cullum.
Does he?
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, Jamie Cullum's, but obviously has been part of that sort of promotion and spotlighting people, yeah.
I think we will make it a task, an objective, to get Jamie Cullum to do a shout out for Jazztime with Joel on RadioAlty. I think we'll try to do that, because I think he needs to hear your show as well.
You're listening to the Late Late Lunch Show with
Back to the Garden Childcare, where little explorers grow naturally.
It's Rod Maxwell on RadioAlty, and today, as part of RadioAlty Me, I'm speaking to Joel Thompson, who does Jazztime with Joel. It goes out, first of all, on a Monday at 10 o'clock, then repeats it, and he also often hosts the Sunday morning breakfast show as well. And what I love about that show is, Joel, that people go off the script, if you like, in terms of where, like, Annie plays soul, Motown and Northern Soul, you play jazz, but then on that show you open up. I love to hear the different songs that you play and the different genre, because we see you as being not one-dimensional, but we recognize you as being, the genre that you primarily broadcast on. Is that quite a liberating for things sometimes to just open up the doors to other things?
I mean, obviously the music I play on that Sunday show, I mean, it's all stuff that I like.
Oh yes.
And it's nice to do it. I mean, I love doing it. I mean, it's quite a task doing it. It's quite a task, 2 hours. Yeah, it's something I really like doing.
And when you're recording your show, do you record it in one go? Do you record it as if you were live? So if it's a 2-hour show, you're there for 2 hours, or do you dice and splice it up and that type of thing?
No, I do it in one go because, well, it's easy for the station for me to do it in one go. If I was to do it in bits, and it wouldn't be right.
No.
You've got to try and not make any mistakes.
I know. But that I mean, I know when I sit down in my little studio, and you've got your little place, studio, if you like, is that when I get in there, I feel cocooned. I'm in my radio world, and it's just me, the music, and Annie's the same. She talks about her broom cupboard. I find it just takes me away from everything else that's going on, and for 2 hours, it's me, the music, and a bit of chat. Do you get the same feeling?
Yes, I mean, it's just good, sort of like presenting what you love, and hoping other people will like some of it or all of it. But yeah, it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling.
It is a good feeling. Well, look, if you ever are interested in the sort of things that Joel plays, if you go to our website and look for his show, his playlist for each show is always on there under his show bio, and just go to RadioAlty.co.uk, look up the shows, find Jazztime for Joel, and you'll see the sort of stuff that he plays on each of his shows. Joel, it's great to see you, because that's the weird thing. We are a very ships in the passing night type of team, aren't we? We don't often get the chance to meet up.
No, we don't. But it's been, I've loved chatting with you, Rod.
And we didn't even talk about United. That's a whole different ball game. Anyway, Joel, thank you for that. Keep well, and thanks for your time.
Thank you.
This is the Late Late Lunch Show with
Back to the Garden Childcare, where little explorers grow naturally.